Okay, so the time has finally come to consider our first model of economics in this class. One of the 3 or 4 primary models that we're going to consider in this class, and one of actually tremendous importance to improving the lives of individuals and societies across the world. We'll talk about some of the claims about this model in this video, as well as prepare ourselves to make some calculations according to this model, which will better inform trade between individuals, trade between countries, and impart some of the knowledge of the economic perspective into our daily lives. So I actually think that this is one of the most important videos in the first section of this class, and I think it's valuable for several reasons. First of all, if you fully appreciate the insight of the model of comparative advantage, then you are going to be able to find win-win deals. You are going to be able to find situations in which trade is beneficial to all parties, and it is going to allow you to better pitch a proposal, better pitch an exchange as creating value for both sides of an engagement, both sides of a market interaction, which is not only going to make your proposal more likely to succeed and win support, but also create more value for you as the originator of the deal and somebody who can find value where previously it was hidden. When we think about the ability of the model of comparative advantage to make the world a better place, it allows you to find free resources to improve the lives of others. We could think of trade as a sort of technology, which allows us to improve the lives of both trading parties on average when compared to what they could have achieved in a state without trade. As we'll see later on in our discussion of the model of comparative advantage, there can be winners and losers within a single trading party, but on average, the 2 parties that trade with each other are both going to be made better off, and allowing them to trade according to comparative advantage is going to find new efficiencies that could make everybody better off. Lastly, you need to understand the model of comparative advantage to succeed in this class, because I expect you to know it in this class, and it helps you understand the arguments in support of free trade and why free trade has been proposed as a way to improve living standards in the developed world and the developing world. So comparative advantage is the brainchild of economist David Ricardo. And David Ricardo is one of history's most influential economists, largely for this theory of comparative advantage. Comparative advantage is the proposition that when 2 economic agents engage in trade, they will both be better off if each specializes production according to the good in which they have the lowest opportunity cost. Absolute advantage is which country can produce more of each good. It is not efficient to trade according to absolute advantage, only according to comparative advantage. Now, there are 3 claims of comparative advantage. The first is that specialization is rational. Agents would choose the outcome from specialization and trade over the outcome from no trade. The second is that they are driven to specialize through trade. And the third is that both trading parties as a whole are made better off from trade. Paul Samuelson, who wrote the go-to economics textbook of the 20th century, was once challenged at a cocktail party to name anything at all that economics has contributed to the world. He was actually given pause by this question, but after a while he ended up answering that the theory and model of comparative advantage was the only proposition in all of the social sciences, so not just economics, but sociology, anthropology, psychology, political science, that was both true and non-trivial, meaning that it's the only proposition, the only model in the social sciences which not only described the world, but told us something that is actually useful and that wouldn't immediately be obvious. Now we're going to think of a couple different examples to illustrate how the theory of comparative advantage makes two trading parties better off by trading according to opportunity cost instead of trading according to absolute advantage. So that is a key feature of comparative advantage, is that it does not mean that an economic agent should specialize according to what they do best or what they do better than the other economic agent. It means that agents should specialize according to who can produce each good with relatively the lowest opportunity cost, relatively cheapest. So the only time two agents would not benefit from trade according to specialization is when they have the exact same opportunity cost of production. And even then, if they do trade with each other, they're not going to be worse off. So this example was taken from the go-to economics textbook of the past 25 years, of the 21st century, which is the textbook which is used in many of the other principles of econ courses here at K College. I just prefer going with the free textbook because I think it removes some of the barriers to education, is a little bit more inclusive. But this other textbook by Greg Mankiw is a great textbook as well. So this example from his book shows, illustrates the point of comparative advantage according to opportunity cost by showing that both a highly skilled worker and an unskilled worker are both made better off by specializing in trade according to comparative advantage. Naive intuition may suggest that only the unskilled worker would be made better off by trade with a skilled worker, and the skilled worker wouldn't be made better off. But the example on this slide illustrates that even a highly skilled worker such as Tiger Woods, who can mow his own lawn faster than Forrest Gump can, is still made better off by paying Forrest Gump to mow his lawn. We can see this because if Forrest Gump mows Tiger Woods' lawn, then Woods is still going to be better off than he would have been by mowing his own lawn, because he doesn't have to give up the income that he could have earned by filming a commercial. Now, the previous example shows all three claims of the theory of comparative advantage. And there are two general steps to identifying how agents can benefit from trade. The first step is finding the good in which each agent will specialize according to opportunity cost. The opportunity cost of mowing a lawn for Tiger Woods is $10,000 because that is the value of the next best alternative of his time, which is filming a commercial. The opportunity cost of mowing a lawn for Forrest Gump is $20 because the value of the next best alternative of his time is working at a fast food restaurant. So the opportunity cost of mowing a lawn is lower for Forrest Gump than it is for Tiger Woods. Gump will then mow the lawn. The second step in completing a problem or thinking about the theory of comparative advantage is finding the terms of trade. Now, the terms of trade between the two agents will always occur between the opportunity costs of the production for each agent. So in this case, the terms of trade will be between $20 and $10,000. So as long as Tiger pays Gump more than $20, and Gump will be better off. And as long as he pays Gump less than $10,000, then Tiger will be better off. So Tiger will pay Gump somewhere between $20 and $10,000, and they will both be made better off. This same logic applies not only to individuals trading with each other, but to companies and countries as well. So if we combine the curved production possibilities frontier, or PPF, from the previous video with a theory of comparative advantage, we can now consider how separate countries, rather than individuals, would benefit from specializing according to opportunity cost. As we will see in the first video of next week, By each country specializing in trading, they will be able to obtain combinations of output which will lie outside the production possibilities frontier. In this case, on this slide right here, Brazil will specialize in sugarcane and trade with the US, and the US will specialize in wheat and trade it with Brazil. In our first video for next week, we will prove this mathematically and quantify the benefits to each country by engaging in specialization and trade according to comparative advantage.